To Caribbean Sports Gallery, where history isn't just remembered, it's relived. And each week we journey through the stories that shaped Caribbean athletics, the icons, the rivalries, the defining moments. Today's story takes us to the very soul of regional track and field. It's about the junior event started with little more than hope and heart that became the launching pad for Olympic champions. This is the story of the Caribbean of the Carifta Games, how it started, who it shaped, and why it still matters more than ever. I'm your host, Robert Charles, and this is another episode of Caribbean Sports Gallery. Each week, this podcast explores the untold stories behind Caribbean sports, cricket, football, track, basketball, and beyond. From athlete profiles to game-changing moments, cultural movements to economic impact. We dig into the victories, the controversies, the legacy of sport, and the islands. Whatever the episode, you're going to learn something you won't find anywhere else. Trust us in this. Caribbean sports is different. In 1972, the Caribbean is young, bold, and building itself. Independence movements have changed the map. Jamaica became independent in 1962, Barbados 66, Guyana 66, and Trinidad and Tobago 62. This optimism, pride, but also a search for identity. How can a region of small islands, scattered nations find a voice on the global stage? One answer: sport. That same year, a junior athletics meet was born, named after the Caribbean Free Trade Association. Its mission was simple: bring young athletes together, compete with honor, and help them rise to the world stage. There were no big stadiums, no billion-dollar sponsorships, just raw talent and the track. That little meet, it became the incubator of greatness. The very first Carifta Games were hosted in Barbados, Bridgetown, Barbados to be exact. It featured just a few nations: Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, Guyana, and a handful of others. They split the age group under 17 and under 20. That age bracket turns out is prime time for athletic development. And by rotating host countries, Carifta Game gave even the smallest islands a chance to host international competitions. A big deal when you are 100,000 people strong trying to field a team against Jamaica. But the early days weren't smooth. There were funding or fundraising issues, limited facilities, athletes running on gravel tracks, yet the passion was undeniable. One of the original organizers from the 1970s, here's how they remembered it. We had no idea it would last this long. We just wanted to give kids a chance, a real chance. And those kids, they didn't just run, they soared. In the 1980s, a 15-year-old from Trinidad and Tobago named Atto Bolden won his first Carifta medal. Less than a decade later, he was the youngest 100-meter world champion in history. You see, Carifta wasn't just a warm-up meet. It was a battleground. Sometimes it was prophecy. Let's fast forward to 2002. We're in Nassau, Bahamas. Stadium's electric. The under-20 boys are lining up for the 200 meters. There's one tall, lanky Jamaican. He's 15, unproven, but there's something about him. The startup pistol cracks, and the kid from Trillaway takes off like a bullet. Usain Bolt crosses the line in 20.58 seconds, a meet record. That moment wasn't just a race. It was a warning to the world. A star was born at Carifta. Have you ever wondered how a boy from a rural parish training on a dirt track becomes the fastest man on earth? That's the power of these games. But Bolt isn't just the only one. And after the short break, stories of athletes who came through Carifta and conquered the world and why some didn't. Stick with us. Let's zoom in on three names. Let me paint a picture. It's a humid Easter weekend. The stands are half full. Some parents are fanning themselves with folded programs. The announcer's voice crackles over the portable PA system. And on the track, a skinny 16-year-old steps up to the line. He's not from a country with Olympic gold. He trains on uneven grass fields. His spikes are hand-me-downs. But in the next 22 seconds, he will do something unforgettable. Now I'll tell you who he is, what he did in just a moment. But before we get there, we need to understand why this stage, this modest little event matters so much, because the Carifta Games don't just create winners, they reveal character. They predict greatness in ways no one can explain. Think about this. How is it that some of the fastest human beings in modern history didn't come from billion-dollar training centers, but from fishing villages like Grenada, backroads in Clarendon, or high schools tucked in the hills of St. Lucia? How did these young Caribbean athletes go from no name or no name heats in regional meets to the Olympic final in front of millions? That's what makes Carifta different. It's not just a competition, it's a prophecy. It's where the spinning DNA of the Caribbean gets tested, refined, and then unleashed on the world. And it's where you'll find the early footsteps of names you now associate with speed, power, precision, and legacy. In the next few minutes, you'll hear about the race that revealed Usain Bolt to the world. The Carifta, a moment that changed Kirani James' life and Grenada's. Quiet heartbreak of athletes who give everything and still fell short. But more than that, we are going to explore the soul of Carifta, the coaches, the chants, the rivalries, the hopes that stretch far beyond the track. So don't go anywhere, because once you understand what's coming next, you'll never look at Caribbean medal the same way again. So let's zoom in on three names that reminds us Carifta isn't just a stepping stone, it's a forge. Firstly, Kirani James from Grenada. He was soft-spoken, focused. In 2009 at Carifta, he won both the 200 and the 400 meters. By 2012, Olympic gold in the 400 meters, Grenada's first ever Olympic medal. Secondly, you look at Shoani Miller Weibo from Bahamas. At Carifta, she was already dominating, tall, powerful, fluid. She took gold in the 400 at the 2016 Olympics, diving across the finish line in one of the most dramatic endings in Olympic history. Thirdly, Jehu Gordon from Trinidad and Tobago. His Carifta hurdles dominance led to a gold medal at the 2013 World Champions. He credits Carifta for teaching him how to compete under pressure. But not all these stories are triumphant. Some athletes burn out, get injured, or never supported after Carifta. The system didn't always follow through. And we'll get into that after this short pause. Behind every Carifta medalist, there's a story of sacrifice. Parents mortgaging homes to fund training, coaches volunteering for free, athletes juggling school, work, and training just to make it to Easter weekend. And as someone from St. Lucia put it, we had the talent, but no physio, no weight room, no dietitian. It was talent versus infrastructure, and talent could only carry us this far. Some athletes who dazzled at Carifta never made it internationally, not for lack of ability, but because the pipeline broke. There are lessons here, though, that grassroots investment must be followed by elite support. That exposure means nothing if it's not followed by opportunity. The Carifta Games still happen every Easter. The last edition was held recently. New stars emerge every year. The meet now include mixed relays, more field events, and better facilities. But the stakes are higher though. Athletes now compete not just for medals, but for college scholarships, endorsements, and international contracts. And they are digital natives, showcasing their journey on TikTok and Instagram. That adds pressure though, but it also adds visibility. What does Curfton need to thrive for the next 50 years? I would say better funding, stronger regional media, continued unity. Because no matter how divided the region may seem, on the Carifta track, it's one Caribbean. So next time you see a Caribbean athlete standing on an Olympic podium, picture this: a dusty track, a humid Easter weekend, flags flying, steel pan echoing, a 15-year-old running not for money, but for pride. That's where it begins. That's the heartbeat of Carifta. This has been Caribbean Sports Gallery. Subscribe today. I'm your host, Robert Charles, and this episode was written and produced by Dr. Z, your host here at Caribbean Sports Gallery. Until then, stay grounded, stay curious, never stop believing. Small islands and big dreams.